I am here at the Haynes Breakfast Club here at Haynes Motor Museum in Somerset, and today we're celebrating all-wheel drives in the Paddock area. So we're going to go take a walk down, check out some of the cars and see if we can talk to some of the people. Let's go!
So my name's David and I brought my Lancia Delta 16 valve Integrale. I've always liked the sort of 80s and 90s rally cars, so you know the Lancia Deltas, 6R4s, you know, all the Sierra Cosworths, that type of thing. And I just had the opportunity to be able to buy something, and I started looking at Deltas and just really fancied one. And I actually ended up buying this one while I was on holiday. I was on holiday in Mallorca and the advert came up. I was up early, I think, with my boy, and the advert came up. It'd only been up like 23 minutes or something. So I messaged the guy and then ended up chatting on the phone to him. And my wife walked in while I'm on the phone trying to buy a car while we're on a family holiday in Mallorca, which didn't go down too great. But so yeah, and then as soon as I got back, I went and had a look at it and yeah, bought it. And I've had it, I think it's about 2.5 years I've had it now. I think the fact that it's such a sort of a compact, quick four-wheel drive car, you know, most people look at it and think it's a Golf for a start, which is, you know, not great. But when you tell them it's four-wheel drive and it's, you know, a 2-litre turbo and does 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, you know, people are like, really? From, you know, something from the 90s, they're quite amazed. And, you know, its performance and its handling are spot on, yeah. There's quite a few things to check. I mean, rust and corrosion is obviously one of the main ones. Electrics can be a little bit temperamental, but really it's just about condition. You know, getting one with a good body, decent interior. Interiors can be very expensive to replace, and just giving it a thorough check over, really. But you know, there's a lot of knowledgeable people out there to get advice from. But yeah, just take your time, just check it over really well.
So I'm Keith Reynolds and this is my son
Oliver Reynolds.
And we brought along today our stair push Haflinger, which we did up during the pandemic, and we had a lot of fun fixing it up. It was completely rusted through when we bought it. It was built in 1973. Sort of the last of these. So Stair Push is this company in Austria. They got told, we would like you to build a vehicle to take 6 men to the top of a mountain. But if it gets stuck on the way, 4 of them should be able to pick it up and turn it around the other way. So what they did was they built this, which is a bit like a mini Unimog if you've got any geeky people out there. So it's 4-wheel drive, it's got front and rear diff locks, and it only weighs 600 kilos, the whole thing. And the really cool thing is, me and Ollie can show you something really cool now, is what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the front end like that. Because we can pick up the whole front end just like that. And 4 people could pick up the whole thing if it got stuck. And the other cool stuff is, for really geeky people, there's no rotatable that's exposed on a Haflinger. So inside, every shaft is inside another shaft. So if you look under a Land Rover, the big drive shaft spinning round. On a Haflinger, there's none of that. So there's nothing to catch underneath. So off-road, it is unbelievable. And a Land Rover will fall over at 45 degrees, a standard Land Rover. A Haflinger won't fall over to 50 degrees. So this really gives it an advantage. So when I was a child, about Ollie's age, me and my dad had one, and we used to go and do off-roading events. And me and Ollie really wanted to go and do some off-roading events. And so last year we went on and did an adventure across the Lake District, didn't we, Oliver? And what did we do? We did lots of off-roading, didn't we? Do you know what? Do you remember anything else? Say it quick. So we had to carry everything with us, didn't we? And then camp. We did 150 miles off-road with 10 other ones of these. This is a really good active club. So and we really enjoy our off-roading and doing lots of stuff like that, really. So that's why. And I wanted to learn to weld. So the welding on the front is pretty bad, but the welding on the back is all right. So it was a good learning experience in COVID. So the fact that so it's got this tiny engine that they developed themselves that's just a 2-cylinder air-cooled engine, a bit like a Beetle. And the fact that you can move the diff locks in and out, so that when you're going up a steep slope, you can come out, and then as you slow at the top, you can take the diff lock out. And that it's got a portal hub, which means that every time the wheel goes round once, the drive shaft goes round 3 times, which means that it gives it a lot of power and it gives it extra ground clearance at the wheel, so the drive shaft doesn't come out the middle of the wheel. Oh yeah, Oliver's saying, say it really loud, the place where it had a huge
mud hole.
We took it into a huge mud hole, so we come down and this wave of mud come right over the front of the car. There was a photographer, and it come right up to here, and we'd fitted a snorkel on it, hadn't we, Oliver? So that was at the International Land Rover show at Billing, where they have a course around there. I'm sure lots of people have been to it, but yeah, driving it in and out of a mud hole was the favourite. So I've got some advice, I'll say it to everyone. If you like a model of car, join the club of that car. Not some rubbish Facebook group, not some internet chat group, the proper club. I'm on the committee for the Haflinger Club. If you want to, you join the club, get involved, meet people who know about them, you'll find out where to get the cheap bits, and then when they know you're a good person, they'll help you find a decent car. So get involved in the clubs.
Hello, my name's Peter Campbell. I've brought along a Land Rover Series 2 Safari long wheelbase. I got it about 30 years ago, and I live on a farm and I needed a Land Rover, so I bought this from an old garage. It was in appalling condition, but just drivable. Well, it's a long story, but I'll spare you most of that. After about 5 years, I had a galvanised chassis fitted. It's a very early 1959 car, so the galvanised chassis gave it another extension of life. And then about 2 years ago, I decided to restore it, and I had it restored locally. Which basically is a new body, which is what you see now. I just think I remember all the breakdowns I've had. I went through an appalling period of several years where every time I took it out, it used to break down. So I've got endless recovery stories, but not a favourite journey. Actually, it was an hour and a bit getting here this morning, in the quiet, in the dark, and brilliant, really nice. The standard advice is buy the best one you can afford. My advice would be just leave it to someone else and admire someone else's. It's a ridiculous car to own, but I've had it a long time and it'll probably stay with me, and my kids will enjoy it one day.
Hello, my name's Andy Cotton, and I bought today an Audi R8 V8 4.2, and it's model 2008. I bought this car a few years ago. I had a bit of a health scare, and I thought, well, I think it's time to buy a nice car, so I went out and bought actually a Porsche 911, and then I kept that for a year. And then I decided actually I really wanted an Audi R8, not a Porsche 911, so I went out and bought it, and this one came up, and I decided to pay the money and buy the car. This is Audi's first entry level into the supercar market, and I thought they'd done a superb job, the handling, the engine, the styling. I mean, look at it. It looks like it's come out of a Formula One garage. It's a beautiful car. What's not to like about it, really? Yeah, favourite journeys from me is Sherborne to Dorchester, Dorchester down the A35 to West Bay, Bridport, and then the coast road to Weymouth. It's lovely roads, lovely views, and Weymouth back to Sherborne. It's a lovely little trip, probably about 50 miles. It's great. So as with all cars really, I mean you really want to buy a car with a reasonable history. It doesn't have to have a full service history, but as long as it's been serviced in one form or another. I personally do all the servicing on this car myself as far as I can. I know it's been done well, and you know, make sure it's not being track dayed, I suppose. I mean, modifications, this has been modified a few times, different things, which doesn't put me off. Just make sure this has got mag ride. Well, they will leak. It's not a case of when. It's when. So just make sure the suspension's in good order, and it's had regular oil changes, just like any car, really.
So the Haynes Breakfast Clubs are on the first Sunday of every month. So make sure you get yourself a ticket and come on down.